Hey guys, so today on the podcast we have one of my favorite people in the world, Francisco Mousinho. And Francisco is a really amazing performer. He is funny, he's very skilled, he's way more skilled than he gives himself credit for, both in terms of sleight of hand as well as audience management. And when I talked with him both in private but also on the podcast, it started to make sense. You know, Francisco has been learning magic from someone like Pedro La Cerda, who is teaching him the intricacies of sleight of hand, as well as just from other amazing stage performers whose name are I'm blanking on right now, which is really a shame. But he's learned from them how to perform on stage, how to perform for people, and how to make yourself be liked. He is an amazing human being with loads of depth, and in this episode we will talk mainly about mentorship and how that really impacts your magic. So this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far. So please sit back, have a nice cup of coffee. I have one in my invisible practice mug, and please enjoy the episode.
Look, I am more anxious than ever.
Why?
I don't know, man. Just countdowns leave me so much angst in my heart.
It's like, shit, what do I have to do in the moment? No!
Yeah, oh my lord, I have to think and talk. Like, what did I learn in my 29 years of life? Fucking nothing. No, just nothing.
All an illusion, man.
It's all an illusion. That's nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, but welcome to the podcast. To be very formal with you, Francisco. We've never
Yes.
spoken before. We're very
No.
formal towards each other.
Just had like a 20-minute conversation and that's it.
There's definitely a bond of mutual respect. We would never swear at each other.
I can't say bad words here.
No. Or maybe you can.
Okay, okay. Beyond the methods. Fuck you edition.
Fuck you, edition. The roast of everything and everyone. Um, no, but I was wondering, like in Magic, we sort of have something very similar going on, which is like I started thinking recently about like the importance of mentorship,
hmm
and I have had quite some mentors, although I think less of a direct mentor experience than you had with Pedro or with Levander.
with Leandro, yeah?
Leander, yes. So, because like one of my first mentors was Gare Copper, you know, who won FISM in 1979. I think 79, possibly, with like his candles, his candle act, which is gorgeous, and Gare knew like a lot about magic and manipulation. And he couldn't teach me so much about slides because like I was very like close up heavy, wanted to do bottom deals and center deals. But he could teach me sort of about like how to apply those things and how to properly use them.
hmm
I got to a space of exposition because I liked Richard Turner and those like, oh look at the second deal or the bottom deal, and Gare was like, dude, what you're doing is so difficult. Why are you showing everyone what you're doing in the end? Like they don't appreciate that because they don't realize how fucking difficult it is to deal a card from the center when you do it so smoothly.
Okay.
So, but then later on, I moved on to like Michael Vincent, who became a very good friend of mine, and we were much closer
hmm
in like the way we were doing magic. And then now, of course, Dick Kornwinder and Flip Hollema. But like, I would say that's more like friendship and mentorship by osmosis in some way,
Yes.
where I'm learning from them, but I have never sat down with any one of them, except for maybe Gare to be like a formal teaching session, you know?
Mm.
It's more like I'm working on this, and then they give me their thoughts, and I'm like, shit, man, those thoughts are really well thought out, and you came up with it like that. Um,
That's very interesting. Yeah, so the first thing is, um, although Pedro had a major influence on the technical aspects and the structural way of thinking, the um, sleight of hand approach to magic and the construction of said parts of where things go. Leandro had a more he impacted my life a bit more because of course, Pedro Lacerda is a great, great friend, but with Leandro, that osmosis seems to be um, easy, right? Because there was never an intended formal invitation of, oh, would you care for? So it was just we became friends, we clicked. Is so I'm the ages are not that far apart. That might help. I'm not quite sure. And then um, just it's there's the willingness for me to learn with someone I admire, but then there's the the fall of the grace, which is I
Mm.
need to understand that I cannot admire someone and him being my mentor. I, I,
What do you
I
mean?
so you can admire someone's work and you can learn from them, but in order to get close to someone like him, you cannot adore him, you cannot worship him, you cannot admire him in that sense. So
Mm.
he cannot become God, even if you think so, in order for you to get close to him and learn. So
Is that because like if he would become God, like a godhead figure, that you would just accept everything that that person is saying without like any consideration or thought?
that's another thing, yeah. But I think it's because in order for it to be true, uh, interexchangeable, and in order to
Mm.
be truthful and authentic and organic, there can't be any feelings of um, that somehow separate you from this figure. That even if it is that way, it is that way in your head,
Mm.
right? So Leandro for me and Pedro as well, but mostly Leandro is one of the finest performers and thinkers of magic I've ever encountered.
Mm.
I'm not getting paid for saying this, but in some way I still
Oh, hey,
admire
look,
him.
PayPal notification.
Venmo. Um, and basically, yeah, so I think in order for you to find a mentor is not a formal thing of someone, oh, I need to teach this kid, because he needs to he needs to like what he sees. So there's too many variables, right? He needs to
Mm.
like what he sees. You need to like who he is and his style. He needs to shape you, not in the way he intends, but in the way that you are going. And that
Mm.
takes a whole lot, and not all mentors are this way, right? Not all
Mm.
mentors are thoughtful and good and kind and talented, and they work on it and they think about it. So I think there's a lot of work. It's been in the works for quite some
Mm.
time. Like I always say to Leandro, it's a cosmic shit,
Yeah.
right? Because he's a friend. The fact that he's a mentor is the
Mm.
byproduct of whatever we got going on. And
Mm.
certainly I wouldn't be where I am without him. Uh, It's impossible to get where I am without him, because not only in terms getting what I am, not in terms of success or anything, because yesterday I did like a cocktail where I was doing
Mm.
signed cards into places there shouldn't be signed cards, like inside pockets and wallets and whatever. And people are like, yeah, like they've seen that before. So they were unfazed. So it's not about the success. It's about I
Mm.
wouldn't be where I am in terms of thinking magic, in terms of respecting magic. That's even more
Mm.
important. Like Leandro sets in me, and this Pedro does as well, because of the history he has with Ascanio, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks to magic.
Mm.
That is just the most humbling thing, ritualistic kind of thing I've ever seen as an approach. So yeah, mentors is a I think this is a Buddhist saying that says if you have a true friendship, care for it because it's been 500 years in the making. and I really love that.
I think that's like what you're saying is important, right? Like I think barely like when someone goes to a mentor, it really works out like, hey, do you want to teach? And they go, yeah. Like unless they are like a magic teacher or have a school or have something where they're teaching you. But I I did find also that like when someone teaches you because it clicks like you say, because your style, your personality, what you want to learn and where you're already going clicks with what that person is doing. That is so much stronger than you going to a person being like, hey, I want to be taught. Because I feel when you go to that person, you say, I want to be taught. You know, it's more like a chore for that person.
Hmm.
Although still very satisfying. Like I have some students. It's very satisfying to teach them. I love teaching them. But like for me, like if I compare myself to Mike, for example, you know, I have never formally sat down with Mike Vincent as, okay, Mike, teach me. You know, tell me what to read, what to learn. I think when I was younger, I once applied to his academy, like when we were already friendly, and he was just like, "Dude, no, I'm not gonna take you on." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Just keep reading what you're reading. You're already on the good way. We'll just be friends. Like if you want to learn something, you just tell me. But we'll just be friends. That's what we already are. I don't want to change that relationship to you being one of my students."
Mm,
Which
okay.
I'm still are a bit like one of his students, and I learn a lot from him. But like I say, it's more by osmosis, by spending time with him, by seeing what he's working on, how he thinks, discussing methods.
There also needs to be a deep well of common sense regarding to the student.
What do you mean?
So I was never one to sponge Leandro out. Um, I was never teach him what you know, teach him what you know, or
Mm,
burdening with questions because as the friendship goes through in life, these ordeals also come
mm,
through that somehow put to the test the mentor's ability to know when a lesson is to be uh, taught. So Leandro has taught me more about life and managing emotions and just the common sense of what to think or how to act when a certain
mm,
problem appears than he has ever taught me about magic. So from this standpoint, it's beyond the method. There, I said it,
mm.
Rico. I said it. Can
Hey.
I go now? Can you Venmo me some money and then
Yep,
I
yep.
go?
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, it's like it's a friendship, right?
Mm,
The show that I'm working on now, we were speaking before, the tricks I stole
mm,
from dead people. Uh, like I would have never come up with a title and subtitle if it wasn't for the refinement of humor that Leander brings out in me, right?
mm.
I just show him that and he goes, I fucking love it. And I go, okay, that's nice. Like when he has nothing to say, then I'm very happy. Like and yeah, like he's helping me with certain connections that I don't see. He's still provoking me to think, right? He's just another level. And Pedro Lacerda the same way. For someone who will be listening, is one of the closest disciples of Arturo de Ascanio,
Mm,
which was some Spanish guy. And basically, Pedro, he's very ritualistic about magic.
mm,
He has an amount of respect of magic that if you put up like a sloppy magic convention, all the magicians there wouldn't have his dedication and his commitment to magic. And Pedro has taught me to. So Pedro never says tricks. So this my show might trigger him a bit in terms of title. He never says trick. He goes, "Oh, it's magic." Is you don't call it a trick. Like is very classical in this sense, and I love it.
mm,
We both love the classics. We both love to revamp and rewrite and remaster the classics. Um, And you can see by the way Arturo carried himself that Pedro brought out the best. Yeah.
Mm.
So I've learned from both. I learned to know the classic rules well enough so I can just fuck the shit out of them. So yeah.
Is that gonna be your second show? Fuck the shit out of the classics.
That's a secret. I cannot say.
That's the after hour show.
It's the encore actually.
It's the encore, man. If you buy the VIP seats, you're in for a treat, man.
You're in for a treat. You're gonna see tricks and magic.
You're gonna see a whole different thing to Lemon.
Yeah, but it is like mentors make the best out of us, and even you and me, right? When
Mm.
we first talked, um, I thought like, ah, this guy's arrogant. Fuck, he uses yellow glasses, and I'm like, what? And no, no, but but when we got to know each other, and I went to Amsterdam, and you were one of the best hosts I've seen. Um, we really clicked because
Mm.
I think it has to do with certain parameters that that has zero to do with the how good you're in magic, and it has more to do how good are you as a
Mm.
person, right?
Mm.
Do you respect other people? Do you care about other people's opinions? Are you empathic enough to put yourself in other people's shoes? Uh,
Mm.
are you careful with other people's struggles? And then if that all turns out to be high in the parameter, then yeah, I tell my younger students, um, I rather have a very good friend
Mm.
who's sort of good at magic than an arrogant one who is the best. Right?
Mm.
I'm much more into good people than good magicians. If they are both,
I
as
agree.
such as
Yeah.
yourself, that's lovely because then there's discussion, there's things we can talk about
Mm.
and still maintain a level of friendship and a level of respect that is phew, insane.
I think it's very valuable as well, right? Because like it's interesting because like I talk with Fritz a lot about like I need to like someone as a person, right? So like we usually call it like the beer test in some way. It's like, hey, can I sit down with you for a few hours and just not talk about magic, just have a beer? And if I can do that, like you're an interesting person, we can be friendly, and then it doesn't really matter if you're great at magic. But then I would like to sit down with that magician. Where
That's
it's
so
like
interesting.
if it's not the case, then you just talk about magic. But unless you are very close to each other's level and you are the very same niche interest, like here are 500 ways to produce the four aces, and you just go crazy about that. If you don't have that, then you're kind of like, yeah, man. After an hour, you're like, yeah, this was nice. I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah,
But
magic is
thanks.
not the point of connection then. Sorry to interrupt.
No, no, that's it. No.
Magic is not the point of connection. It's yeah, like there are some friends that I'm thinking of one that uh is so good and he doesn't know about it.
Mm.
And since he wasn't a full-time magician as he wanted to be, because Portugal, in that sense, if you don't do the corporate world or the wedding scene,
Mm.
um, it's very hard to come by, right?
Mm.
I do corporate because I need to. Just putting my computer to charge. I do the corporate because I need to. At some events, I like it very much, right? At some events are very cool, but most of them are not. I have to be truthful to it. Like most events are not interesting. But I have a friend who simply is so good, and then he goes, "Oh, if I don't do this full time, then I don't care for it." And he got such a heartbreak of it that he just let it go, like completely. And I don't think there's a barometer of how much you get into magic.
Mm,
You can certainly put it into a graph, right? You can go, oh, he
mm,
does magic, but he does it in this section here. Oh, he does magic, but only does it for friends. He does magic, but I don't think that defines at all, the quality of the performer, of the
no.
magician, of the magic itself. And we are used to think like this. Like, oh, is if he plays the guitar or is a bass player,
Mm,
but he just plays in local whatever. Like that
mm,
means absolutely nothing. And I don't know why people think that way, but I also was taught to think that way, right? So if
mm,
you don't do something full on potential force, then you're not good enough to do it. Like, are you a better magician because you want to FISM? Because FISM has perverted so many of the rules that
mm,
were made, right? Uh, for example, if you see a 10-minute act of a guy who won a first prize, and then you
mm.
go on and you see his full hour, his full show, you just want to put needles in your fucking eyes because you see how not well prepared he is to
Mm,
deal with a proper crowd, a family setting, people who enjoy magic, not magicians. People are too perverted
mm,
in the sense. So if you don't do it, if you don't do something full on, like I do corporate and I do, but I think my best work is done when my artistic side comes out.
mm,
At least that's how I feel the audience to connect.
mm,
And then in corporate, I just do the commercial stuff that I know that works.
mm,
I try to mix it up a bit because it's been a few years now, so I try to do some things differently and risk a bit more.
mm.
But there's this thing, right? Oh, Rico is not doing magic full time. And you go, okay, does that make him less of a magician? Oh, Rico's doing magic full time, so he's a good magician. No,
Mm.
it's not the case at all. But yeah, oh, I'm a full-time magician who works at weddings. Yeah, and
Mm,
you do your double lift like you're reading a book and turning a page, right?
mm.
So yeah. So my rant is now over. We can.
No, no, but I think they have to do with similar things, right? Like it's the audience's perception of what would make someone good just by the words that you're using. So it's like because they have no experience, right? So you say, "Oh, I won the world championship of magic." They go, "Wow, if that guy could win the world championship of magic, he must be one of the best magicians in the world." Which, no, that particular act was just really good for a magic championship. But then also, what would win a magic championship like FISM is, like you say, it's preferred. It's not necessarily what would be a great act for lay people. It's just that this fooled the fuck out of magicians. Some things were very solid, and you had a very clever table with a lot of black art shit in it.
Yeah.
But that same thing goes for the saying that as to like, oh, you're a full time magician, where we assume, oh, this guy makes money from this thing, so he must be good. He must be good enough
Yes.
at that particular thing to get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Where people don't realize that it's nowadays very rare to have a manager. It's very rare to
Yep.
come upon someone that wants to manage you and go with that relationship because it's much more like um, it's much more advantageous for an agency to just have 500 magicians that people choose from, to not give a shit about your talent and to just be like, oh, here's a catalog you can choose from.
As you're saying that, I am thinking about Maxime, which is the cabaret I
Mm,
work at. And mainly, I do most of the corporates there because there are some corporates
mm,
companies that during so cabaret is more of a winter autumn vibe, right? It's not a
okay, okay.
spring summer thing, right?
Mm,
The act of women and men getting undressed
mm,
uh, in summer, it makes no sense, right?
mm,
But if they do it while the weather is cold, there's a sensuality there that's unspoken.
Mm,
And mainly corporates during the week, because the weekends are for the lay public. The corporates close out and rent the Maxim space, and they have the catalog of the artists. And I'm a resident there, and I'm mostly get picked for the corporate shit because
mm,
I am the guy with the three-piece suits, and
mm,
the other hostess is a lady. She does a fuck wonderful job. She's one of
mm,
the finest hostess I've ever worked with. But mainly the thing is they like the clear safe choice approach for the thing, and then
mm,
I get on stage and I just rip them a new hole because my and you've seen me perform. I get away with a lot of shit
mm,
because I know where I fit, right? I know where I connect,
mm,
and I don't think that like if there are a lot of FISM winners that could pull off this kind of 1 hour stunts. Like Morten Christensen is
yes,
one.
for sure.
Uh,
More tanker, for sure.
I've seen for 10 years now, Hector Mancha. I've seen him in
Mm,
2015, before, like 2 or 3 months before, in the FISM in Italy, Rimini.
mm,
And when I saw him there, I was like, that is a prize winner right there. And you see his pickpocket act. You see, like he came to Portugal to perform in Luís de Matos' show, and the way he just connects with people is just on another level, right? So
mm,
there's a guy who won an act, a FISM winner award, and then he can put his mouth where his money is, or his money where his mouth is, or whatever the saying
mm,
is. But if you look, for example, I don't know, I have no idea of, like, I've never seen the one man show of Shin Lim,
mm,
but I would argue that there's a difficulty to connect. For
mm,
example, like guys like Ben Hart, just fucking insane, never won a FISM,
mm.
right? Derek Delgaudio, what the fuck, right? So yeah.
But it's like again, like that assumption that the public makes about someone, and sometimes it's right. Okay. Oh, this guy won Morton. He won Fism. We're gonna go to his show, and he turns out to be fucking hilarious. You're
Hmm.
enjoying the fuck out of that 1 hour. But like, I am wondering now, almost like being a professional, right? Means more to be good at marketing yourself, being at the event. Like,
Hmm.
I think you could have six or even four really good routines. Do those same four routines for the rest of your life, and be a professional magician.
Hmm.
If you're talking about a walk around set, do two at this table, two at that table, two at this table, two at that table, and that's it. I wonder if that is your approach to magic, if it is easier to do shit gigs.
Okay.
Because you care less. I assume if that's your approach, like it's a very pragmatic thing where you're making money with this. So that's your skill set. They might care less about the art. So when people are responding shittily to it or not necessarily as you want, it's less of a hit to the ego maybe because your ego doesn't want to have that artistic side. It's just they're like, okay, we're here to make money, we're here to entertain people. If they don't want to be entertained, then that's their problem.
I agree. Um, yeah, I thought you were saying something else. I agree. Like when I do the most commercial shit and people don't respond because they either because you're in a corporate, they don't know they're gonna see
Mm,
that, and you don't know
mm,
if they like it, and you don't know how's the mood. So there's too
yeah.
many variables to even care. But when I do something that I know it's commercial and I know it's straightforward, and people don't react, my
Mm,
thought immediately goes, shit, you should have done the thing you were working on that you like. But yeah, I believe so, but I don't know if that's the approach for all the things that you're doing, right?
mm,
Because if you have to play it safe in those things,
yeah.
um, so they're paying you money to do. And then there's little to know. Why so many less interesting magicians are making money out of magic, and they've been so for their entire lives, is that there's not a common knowledge about magic, right?
Mm.
Um, like in music, you can go, yep, he knows how to play. In singing, you go, yep, he knows how to sing. In magic, if you don't know the secret of it, for most people, that is enough. But then it becomes a puzzle, right? It's not magic because a puzzle is something that you try to crack and you go, oh, I don't know how it works, but it must work somehow.
Mm.
And in magic, there's no false solutions if constructed properly. In magic,
Mm.
is that is impossible. It's people audibly thinking and saying that cannot be done.
Mm.
Not there's a way and I don't know how. That's when you
Mm.
see very well constructed magic. There's
Mm.
a routine that I do just because of the commercial stuff where they name a playing card and I fan out the cards and I just locate it more or less in the pack. And then I go through the cards and I cull it when I see it and put it to the top and give the deck to them and then reach into my pockets and pull out the cards. And the thought that I want them to think, because the routine is going ahead, is,
Mm.
oh, how is the card in the pocket? And then they immediately think, oh, he must have a full deck in his pockets, and he
Mm.
just chooses the cards, right? It's a sort of clunky approach, but they don't know about
Mm.
indexes. But none of
Mm.
this is true because then I go, that's very clever. You know what? Just write your signature on this card, then you know it's yours. So
Mm.
they're making themselves, they're cutting their own legs,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm allowing it. So the fabrication of illusions in the
Mm.
corporate world is not very well thought out, and that which you call the a common working professional magician, they don't
Mm.
fabricate illusions with that in mind, or they
Mm.
do by copy paste. So yeah, so the way that you do your approach to the Carlisle card to pockets.
Mm.
Sorry, that's my cock. I don't know if you
That's
can
your
listen to it.
cock. We can hear your
Yes,
cock. Yeah.
yeah, it's a mighty one.
It's
And
a
so
mighty one.
when you do the Carlisle thing,
It's so mighty it's yelling. Okay, anyways.
it's my next trick actually. Like when you do
Disappearing cock?
oh, dude, I why did I say yes to this? Uh, yeah, I'm trying my disappearing cock in corporate. Um, they don't find it very funny because it's very emasculating.
Mm.
So I'm just trying a different approach to it. But yeah, okay, let's try again. The Carlisle card to fucking pockets. When you do your approach, like everything is done so smoothly and so impossibly, and when they think you're going with your hand closed, you just open that up as you reach into the pocket, and they go, oh, and then you just take it out. Like, and we've talked after the show we had
Mm.
in the Boom Chicago. I was like, I've never seen someone react so fiercely
Mm.
to a card to pocket, like a standard construction, but with all your genius moves. I've never seen anyone go, oh no, and I was like, whoa, I was scared that they reacted this way, right? So yeah, it's not about like a card going into the pocket is about how they perceive the card going into the pocket.
Mm.
The same thing happens. Have you ever read Gary Chapman's Love Language, the five love languages?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, so he speaks about people. So we've had different parents who showed affection in different ways.
Mm.
Some would be physical touch, some would be quality time, some would be receiving gifts, others would be words of affirmation, right?
Yeah, or acts of service.
Or acts of service, yeah. So I think this can be used in a, I'm writing about it, I'm thinking about it, see if it makes any sense to me. This can be used in a uh, performance setting.
Mm.
Of course, you
Okay.
can't reach all of them, but you can make the
Mm.
universal language interesting enough for them to merge somehow, all the audience.
Mm.
Because,
Mm.
like, it would be like if all people knew their love language, which is normally one or two would be the most common.
Mm.
If they would know, that would be a great magic trick, isn't it? They would come on stage, okay, think of your love language or both,
Mm.
and then you through action or through something that you say or do, you guess their love language. That is a fucking magic trick, right?
Mm.
But when you bring someone on stage, how can you decipher this? How can you know? How can you make this
Mm.
person feel valued, heard, acknowledged, accepted into what you're doing? How does this
Mm.
dynamic morph into something different? I think that's very interesting. So we know, the same thing with love. I think it happens with magic. It's not about what is uh, it's about what it lands and not what it sends, right? It's not it's not transmission, it's translation, right? And we are too used to think of magic, magicians, of course. We are too used to think of magic from the magician's side, and there's an hypothesis that uh, there we may be wrong about it. Do you know a guy called Michael Davies?
I've heard the name, like it rings a bell, but
Yeah,
nothing
it's
else.
he is a juggler.
Okay.
I don't know if he passed away or not. I think not. He's from the late. It's from the 80s and 90s, and he just did like the way he entered on stage, the charisma he has as a person.
Mm.
He performed for Reagan.
Okay.
Like it was insane. Like he performed for Reagan, and he did like an axe and knife and whatever juggling on a stage.
Mm.
And he looked at Reagan, and he goes and he clicks like the classic juggler thing. He bits one, like he takes a tool and he smashes onto the other. He hammers it, and he goes ting 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 ting. Let's see if this doesn't fly off again. And he looks at Reagan, right? Like he's threatening the president of murder, and people are like, ha ha ha! Like what the fuck? This is insane, right? And he goes and he does something that's very scary, like the same thing, like menacing the people of that flying off and killing somebody. And he goes, tonight would be a good night to talk about tax cuts. And he looks at him again, and like him and his wife are like, ha ha ha. And like, that is, it has to, well, it was different times, but it
Yeah.
has a different aura to it because of the guy who's doing it.
I love it, but it's also like in some way like taking Reagan out of his role as the president while still acknowledging that usually he's playing that role of the president, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is just like you cannot take a title out of a man, and it
Mm.
just surely just it's yeah, it's insane how people like. I think if you're a good person, or you at least try to be a good person, and you read
Mm.
and you make the best out of what you have, I think
Mm.
your magic improves.
I
I've
agree.
I've I've talked about Morton, and I
Mm.
love Morton, right?
Mm.
Is I have so much love for him. He's a great friend, and he's just overall a nice person.
Yeah,
And then
I
that's
agree.
reflected in his magic. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
man, sometimes I have like a good kind of jealousy, this admiration for things he does, and then it's just there humble, like, huh, yeah, just this guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
And I'm
that's
like,
how it is.
stop! I just want to shake. He's almost 2 meters tall, and I want to
Mhm.
shake him. And I go, stop being so nice and so good. You're making everyone bummed out. So yeah, man, if you're a nice person and your magic grows.
I'm gonna go to the toilets really quick. I'll be back in a moment. And
Yes,
we'll continue
I'll
this.
no worries. I'll just stay here alone and afraid.
Me praying I don't have a hot mic. Because the microphone is here, right? So
That's funny.
I think we once had it at a show, and like one of the performers just had to pee before he went on stage, but the soundboard dudes forgot to turn up the mic. So just through the tuner, you go like, tss,
That is so.
oh, tss.
I once had a like a shitty show in Maxim and people were not reacting
Mm,
and to a point where they were like we are the strange ones for wanting them to have fun and entertainment because they were
right.
not used to entertainment. They were a very weird group of people, right? It was like, what the hell? What is this? And I'm doing my best signature things, and they're like, not, I go, oh, I guess they don't like it, or I'm not that good. That's fine, or it's not their
Yeah,
cup
yeah.
of tea. That's part of the game.
Uh,
Then there was a part where I thought it was really funny, and just like three people laughed out of 90, and I was like I literally did this of like, I is this like am I being pranked? Like to a point where
yeah,
you think that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, what? Okay, so I must be off, right? My days, I must be off my.
Mm.
And then as I come out, I go, oh wow, looks like a funeral. And then everyone inside hears it. Oh Lord, like I come to the backstage and I was like, and the guy says, dude, your mic, like the technician didn't cut the thing, and I was like, oh Lord.
Oh, Lord.
And with what face and what kind of bravery do I get on the stage again and face them? Like there's no way I'm gonna clock out at the moment. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that happens. Okay,
How
resuming.
did that, yeah, dude,
Shit.
man. Like I'm writing about, I wrote a thing about that recently. I'm talking about like Jung has some ideas about like crowd psychology, he calls it, or it's usually referred to. Like what I get from Jung's idea is sort of like once a crowd is big enough, it becomes sort of a new individual, right? So everyone will take the characteristic of the crowd, and when it's big enough, all the people in the crowd are very suggestible. So when you teach them when to applaud or when to laugh or when to do certain things or how to respond to certain things you're saying, they will automatically follow that, right? So, like I noticed, for example, I've been doing this month like 3 shows a night, like every weekend day, at like a little theater here. And I noticed if I sell 6 tickets to such a show, and they're all individuals that don't really know each other or like in groups of two, it's very difficult to get the crowd to come with you because all these people are still trying to relate. Who am I? Who is the person next to me? What is the identity of this crowd? Who am I with? What are we watching?
That's so clever.
Can I say something? Whereas I feel as soon as that group becomes 20 people plus, their identity becomes morphed and they lose their face. Because now if you're laughing or saying something, it doesn't matter anymore because everyone is fucking there with you. So you lose fear and you lose the sense of responsibility. And you can just sort of be. And you are less afraid to follow the crowd, the herd. So to applaud when something is great and to audibly respond to something. Where usually we say, that's not allowed to do. Why are you doing that? Why are you possibly bothering people by audibly expressing yourself now or applauding or responding to the performer?
Fuck, I agree with it 100%. They form a new identity. They form a new face for all of them.
Mm,
They still retain their most infectious qualities,
of course, yeah.
and that's why it works. But what I've noticed is that people need to be thought out to be an audience.
Mm,
I also learned this from Morton, actually. Some people are not aware, and some people, and this is true in 90% of cases. This is empirical, Rico. It's not
mm,
a theory, which is they need to be taught how to be an audience, most of them. I just lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Yeah, they need to be taught how to be an audience, and at the same time, they're thinking more about how they have to react in public than
Mm.
than how they have to react to you. So it has
Mm.
more, it plays more to their concerns that they are out of pocket, like yelling at a restaurant, right? So when you allow that to happen, and that's certainly my case,
Mm.
when I allow that to happen, where I have a couple of key word provocations that when they respond to them, it's just flawlessly done. Like uh, when I do it and they start to
Mm.
yell out and become interactive and wrestle with me, right? That's when I go, oh fuck, this was flawless, right? They know what to do, and they can manage themselves from now on. They're autonomous. So
Mm.
normally, Maxime has a three-part show, half an hour each with 15-minute breaks. So the show starts at 8:45. They have half an hour, and then they get a break, and then they get another half hour, and then they get foods, like mini plates of things, and then another break. Like from the beginning, middle of the second part, maybe yeah, from the beginning of the second part all the way to the middle, they are now in autopilot, and they know because most people go to the cabaret, they don't know. Like I ask someone, "Have you ever been to cabaret before?" And they go, "No." Most of the times they go, "No," right?
Mm.
And I go, "Oh, so you're the so-called, and I'm sorry, virgin of the cabaret world." And they laugh, and they just got to know me, but they know I'm spicy. And you've seen me
Mm.
perform. I roast people. I I talk shit to them. Like in the last show, I did this to a Danish. I just did
Mm.
this, and they're like, ha 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 ha. And a friend of mine was watching with his girlfriend, the magician, was like, why is he clapping? Why is he like you did this? Why is he? And it goes, it's because
Mm.
they know the story world I'm in, right? They know what I can get away with and what not. So
Mm.
from the moment you get on stage, you establish something with the audience. There's a book from, um, do you know Johan Huizinga? We've spoke about it when I was there. A book called Homo Ludens.
Homo ludens, yes.
It's a book on how uh, play as a concept,
Mm. Mm.
playing game, uh, not in terms of gambling, casino, but the inherent play
Mm.
is inserted into uh, every single fiber on Earth. And he
Mm.
says something very, very interesting that is we are quicker to forgive a cheater than a killjoy.
Mm.
So Monopoly has a cheater's edition.
Mm.
So it's not about following the rules. Monopoly figured out, oh, okay, so people steal money, they because they put up houses in hotels where it shouldn't be, and everyone is too tired of capitalism in order to see it, right? So they've come up with a cheaters edition. So it's not about following the rules, it's about following and respecting the story world you're in.
Mm.
And an audience is no different. You can't break the pattern, right?
Mm.
So people are more willing to forgive a guy who cheats, who
Mm.
bends the rules, than one who disregards them completely. What do you think about that?
I think it's true. Like, like you could consider doing magic as a form of cheating because you're cheating reality in some way. But I think they would forgive you quicker if they, like, let's say they see a magic trick. Like, there is quite some forgiveness for that still. Like, especially if you're just being honest about it and like we're all having a good time, but I screwed this thing up. I'm sorry. Let me show you this other thing, which is amazing. People go, oh, what? That's kind of cool, actually. You fucked up. Sick. and you go on. But like, if you were to just like be like this very arrogant sort of prick that's showing you the greatest magic ever, but you're not allowing space for the audience to be there. Like, you're not even allowing them to express themselves. And you're like, no, 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 just shut up, just watch. Like, and that's not your character. That's like genuinely how you are making them feel, that they should just shut the fuck up, watch, and there is no space for them to mentally, physically, or emotionally interact with the material. You're sort of like killing the joy, right? Like, you're not allowing their expression to be there.
Yeah, to bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm writing now about a couple of weeks, but I'm still thinking about it, about how to choose the right person when on stage, like
Mm,
someone who wants to help, because with the experience that you have, you wouldn't pick the extroverted, uh, mouthy guy. You
mm,
wouldn't. You just wouldn't, because it's not about he outshining you. It's about him not allowing the natural course of things to go. Yeah.
that's it.
You don't want to pick someone who's too shy that crumbles on stage with nervousness.
Mm,
So you want to pick that person who's just reserved enough that when they make that quirk or that
mm,
gesture or that action, it's just it tears the roof apart, right?
mm.
So yeah, I think you're correct. You're correct.
But with this, I follow a similar philosophy to Martin, which is I work very hard to not have someone on stage.
Yeah. Morton goes, yeah, Morton says to me, I don't know why magicians bring people on stage. It's way harder than it looks. And
Yeah.
when I hear him say that, like he says, it's way harder than it looks, and magicians are not aware of it. I immediately think about a chair test with four people on stage that you need to decipher who has the ball or who has the object that needs to be, or people who bring like six people on stage. It's too much
They're
to handle
they're
for me, of
props, dude.
course.
They're props in that case.
Yeah, they're props. I like I figure that is not like when I do my cards across, with the signed cards and two people are on
Mm,
stage. The first thing that someone told me, I don't know who, so the people were standing for it's a 12 to 16 minutes routine,
mm,
depending on interaction, right?
mm,
And basically, I've been told, why aren't people sitting down?
mm,
Right? It's too much, and people are very nervous, and they should be seated,
mm.
right? They should be on stage comfortable, right?
Yeah, they should be made comfortable. Exactly.
Yeah. And when it's to get up, they get up, but mainly they like the resting place should be I am comfortable. Even
Mm,
I'm on the skirts, of uncomfortable, right? But that's good because that makes them leave with an experience. They go home
mm,
and they go, "Oh, why was I so nervous?" But looking back, I was good, right? And they think about this more
mm,
than they think about us, more than they think about you and me. "Oh, the magician was so good." No, they think about, "Oh, I thought I'd be more nervous on stage," right?
mm.
It's so mundane, right? So much more humane. And yeah, we're thinking way too much about things that shouldn't.
Well, but I think like you could like if you could reach a space where they sort of forget that they're on stage because they're comfortable, they're into the story.
But yeah,
Even though
that depends on you, of course, but it's
mm,
a symbiotic thing, isn't it? So they need to
it's a difficult
also
thing to, yeah,
be willing, and if they're not willing, that's okay. But
of course. But I think that's the same thing with magic. Like we always say, like, oh yeah, if you do this or that, you're gonna have a great effect. And it's like, yeah, but like you cannot manipulate people into responding well. Like the
yeah,
only, I think that at least that's what I think. I think like you can open the door for someone and they can choose to step through that door, but that still needs to be their choice.
I
It's a
agree.
50-50 thing. I give the audience energy, they have to give it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if they don't do that, like A, I'll perform worse, but or like the atmosphere won't be fully there. But B, like yeah, it's up to them to not respond. And sometimes, like we go back to the thing before, like the experience of the audience as an individual has formed in such a way, like as a group, that in that group being an individual, that they're too cool for school, that they're just like yeah, cool, then it's fucked. Like it's maybe on the stage you can break that, but like if that is the consensus within a business event, and you have to do walk around magic, you're
It's a
just
nightmare.
fucked.
It's a
You're
nightmare.
fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about the approach that you also do to it, because if you go there, I think you have to. I was imagining myself in that position, and the
Mm,
first thing I would do is call out the elephant in the room,
mm,
which is, so I would, hello, hello, and then, oh, sorry. And basically, what would happen was they were like, "Oh yeah, magician, right? So he's trying to fool me." So uh, subconsciously, is my status does not allow me to care about this. I have too much money to be put in a position where I'm a fool.
mm-hmm,
And then I would have two approaches. I would be merciful to their assumptions, and I would be relentless to their behavior.
mm,
So I would go normally, what people think, and this is a common misconception, is that magic is here to fool. It is, but that's not just the case. My job here is to create something so impossible that you can't possibly think that there's a solution for it. Not because you are dumb, but because you have no idea how our body, our mind is deceived. And then I would go into a bar bet. I would
mm,
clearly go into a 1v1 confrontation. I would fool them, and then I would be merciful about it.
mm,
I would go, see, you know how that happens? That happens because our brain, this, and that. And I would do the explanation of the layers of thought that they're having in a way that they
mm,
go, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. And this might earn me some respect
that's interesting.
or not. Or not. But then I would try. And then if you are just a blunt asshole, I would just then be relentless in the pursuit of fabricating that illusion. But it's never about me versus you. It's about me
No.
revealing to you. So even in those cases when I'm trying so hard not to be a, a fucking cunt, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, right? Like people who, and this happens as well, people who touch you without permission, strangers.
Mm,
They reach into your sleeves, and they like in there. I have some cocktail shows that I'm doing, and people are
mm,
very invasive. They have no clear sense of what could be happening. And most people in the group, they're like, "Whoa, that was too much." Where they grab my wrist and go, "Oh," and I just make it look very natural, and I get them down with ease. I just go,
mm,
oh, I know you're very eager to see some. I know you're very eager to see some magic. But this is a British suit, and you've just eaten something very greasy, right? Even if they haven't, because it's a
mm,
cocktail, so it's a pick, right? So, but this is a British suit, and you've eaten something very greasy. I've seen it, and people laugh, and it's a graceful way to put them down, to go, hey, don't touch me, like I know you want to see it, but settle down, right? Settle down. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry if I went off topic, but I think
No,
this
no,
is
no, that's
important.
great. No, no, I think it's great. Like, but also with the money, like, I have noticed that certain gigs, it sort of depends where the money comes from. Because I've
Okay.
noticed, like, I've done gigs for millionaires who, like, themselves, like, didn't start as a millionaire. They like, had made a company or a certain service and made so much money with that and became so successful that after working their ass off for 20 years, they sold their business and eventually became a millionaire. I notice when I go to those people to do magic, like given that my style is very elegant, very classic, very cultured, those people love it. Like not just because I fit into their world, but also because they can see the amount of effort and skill it's taking to do this. They can recognize that even though they can't do it, they can see, fuck, this guy is really good. Like, like we couldn't see anything, and we don't even have a sense of feeling the way he's doing something. Like this guy is really good and he looks really skillful, so they automatically appreciate it. They go, this dude had to work. I can understand that because I had to work my whole life, you know? Whereas I feel some people, like, they come from parents with a lot of money. Like, I had this one event for a company which invited, there's a clothing company that invited their best customers, very
Hmm.
expensive clothing. So all these best customers, they were just people from parents with a lot of money that could just afford expensive suits and
Mm.
dresses and other shit. And these people were all like fucking dead inside. You know, they were just looking at it, and at the meanwhile they were all too busy with how do I look, how do I come across, like, you know, but not in a healthy sense, like just too like egocentrically focused to a point where they couldn't appreciate outside stuff. Like they were just looking like deadly out of their eyes, like at this thing and being like,
Jesus.
oh, that's nice, that's cool. Oh, you're done? Yeah, okay, good.
Do you think those people perceive it as such?
I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, especially because I have too few gigs that have this thing, even though those gigs always
Sorry.
stay with me because they kill me from the inside.
Um, so the first example you gave about people who recognize it,
Mm,
so they see magic through the experience of life.
yeah.
It's very interesting. So the perception of what magic is to them
Mm,
also has to do with the person behind it.
I think 100%. Yeah. Of course. Like, but I believe, which I also wrote about, that like we draw the false conclusion that we have 100% um, ownership over the experience of magic for another person.
Hmm.
Because I feel a lot of us start when we're younger, and when you're in school, that's the coolest shit anyone has ever seen. And
Yeah.
then when you go to certain house parties or to family events, like out of all the mundaneness that is there, and seeing your uncle again, and like speaking about the same story you've heard 1,000 times,
Hmm.
then that magic trick is the coolest shit anyone is going to see all day. So all those reactions are great and they're good. But when we start doing it professionally, we don't have any ownership. Like, I'm talking walk around here, okay? We don't have any ownership over the crowd. We don't have ownership over what they've gone through before that day, how many lectures they saw, how exhausted they are, what their professional relationship with each other is, and how they're expected to come across to each other,
Hmm.
how that group is bonded and formed, what the identity of that group is.
Yeah. Their experiences together as well, all together.
That's it. That's it. And so you might find that there's some groups in that professional sphere that just need to, like, for example, for consultancy firms, I did that. All the reactions were very underwhelming. There was a lot of social manipulation to make other people feel less knowledgeable, less good at something, less capable of doing something. Like a lot of like backhanded compliments, a lot of putting people down, putting them into a position below them by just giving certain responses, like a lot of backhanded compliments that were sort of sounded nice, so you couldn't really go like, dude, the fuck are you saying? But they don't feel nice, right?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
started to
they're
think, why
backhanded.
is
Yeah,
that?
that's
Why is that? Oh, these are consultants. It's literally their job to make the other person that they're consulting feel as if that person needs the consultant in order to do the thing that they want to do better,
yeah,
even if the consultant doesn't know about it.
that's very clever. Yeah, uh, too many variables, you know. So
Yeah.
that's why bringing magic into corporate, bringing magic into uh, bringing whatever arts or self-expression into a place where people are there and didn't voluntarily ask for it. It's a
Mm,
perverted way of doing things. That's why magic in theaters works so much better. That's why, like, I got to, and this is this is a side note that I want you to be aware of. like the amount of work that I need to put in order to get either well, not the I can read a room well, but the
Mm,
reaction of the work that I do in Portugal and the same work, the exact same work, the same script, the same actions that I do in a venue where people come to see me, which is normally more abroad because I don't do box office ticket splitting in Portugal.
mm.
The reaction is insane. Like what I have to work for a standing ovation abroad versus home, it's
Yeah, I get it.
insanely different. Insanely different. I have no like in Maxime,
Hmm.
it's easier because people come to see the show, so they're open to the experience and the expectations that might change all of a sudden.
I
And I
think that's the
can,
mindset, right? Like they go like, okay, I'm gonna be entertained.
yeah, and
I want to enjoy this.
yeah, like the cocktail that I was speaking about yesterday, like I was doing the fast or loose game,
Mm.
um, and I saw a guy, like some people were having fun, but it was mild. And I watched some guy looking at it like he was obligated to be there. I was like, like I'm not your boss, but he has the mentality of someone who is like, yeah, since I have to be in places that I don't want to be, this is just one
Mm.
other place.
Yeah, and they don't allow themselves to then enjoy it because they're like, I have to
Yeah,
be here.
yeah.
This
Sorry,
is my time off. I'm not.
this horn, just so that people can know when they see this. This is I live in a very cold place outside of the tourist Sintra, and this is the guy who brings fresh bread every single Saturday and Sunday. When I hear this sound, it reminds me of my childhood, right? I might put this into a show actually. This is very fun. But yeah, so people are very used to a certain expectation of life, and when you bring that to them, it's just uh, weird. It's just weird to see people react the same way they've reacted to something that should be a gift to them. It should
Mm,
be like I yesterday was performing for doctors, so
mm,
they are very logical, uh, structured thoughts. So they
mm,
couldn't understand how a playing card, a signed playing card by them, went into inside a wallet that had a zipper that was in my pocket that was
mm.
inside an envelope that was sealed. They were like the thought was, did I sign a playing card before? That was the thought, right? And did I sign the same playing card? Like they were insane about it. But that's the way people think about magic. They think about the way they are and not the way the perception of what you think. Like you said, you can't be arrogant enough to predict what can't be, right? You
Mm.
don't know how they're reacting.
But that's a good thing to consider that like we don't have 100% ownership over every situation.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
50-50. But like also like the pitfall in that thought is that like you take not enough responsibility.
I understand that, but if you do that, you also have to be aware that if things go exceptionally well, you might consider that it's not just for you.
Mm,
Someone or some like someone might have got a promotion, or two or three people might have got something very interesting,
mm,
and they're in a mood to party, and they
yeah.
infect other people with it, and then you're
Mm.
on, right? So,
Ah, but that's what we're saying also all the time at the Amsterdam Magic Show. It's like, oh, tonight we had a good audience, or tonight's audience was a bit meh, you know?
yeah, bad audiences versus bad performance. It has a lot to be said. A lot, a lot, a lot.
Just so I am gonna ask you some questions like to
Okay.
end off the podcast.
Yeah,
These are
I love
questions I
it.
ask to everybody.
Hmm.
Um, Also, don't worry about like thinking about it for a while. I can just cut it out. But the first question is, who is a lesser known person that people should look into? Like a lesser known magician.
Magician?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that question. A lesser known magician people should look into. Well, you're famous, so
No, I'm not.
I should. Let me think about it for a moment. There's a guy that I met when I performed in Spain last year. Last year? Was it last year? I think it was. His name is Dani, is Spanish, Dani Becares.
Mm-hmm.
I was starstruck with him.
Yeah.
Just a kid, just 21, 20, I don't know, 23, I don't know, maybe. Looked like a kid, had the poise of a kid, right?
Mm.
And he was watching my show, and he was like, I was doing multiple stuff, and then I did
Mm.
my Travelers,
Mm.
uh, which, as you know, it's not an easy technical routine.
Mm.
And he was enjoying it, he was having fun, but when I did it, his eyes lit up, right?
Mm.
They're like, oh, there's a shift there.
Mm.
And then in the end of the show, he came to me because like we went to lunch after. It was like there's a thing in Spain from Pauline Gil, which is a
Okay.
Spanish magician, that he does 24 hours of uninterrupted magic.
Mm.
So from Saturday at like 7 p.m. all the way to Sunday at 7 p.m. 12 magicians do 20 minutes each.
Mm.
And there's not enough sleep in 24 hours, right? It's insane. Um, and Danny watched the fucking 4 a.m. performance,
Mm.
and I did the Travelers almost sleeping in Spanish. And then I did it again in at noon or whatever, and then we went to lunch, and then he was talking to me.
Mm.
He moved over a couple of seats, and then we were face to face. And I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" Oh, and he goes, "Oh, I don't live in Zamora. I live close. I work in I think it's I think it was a butcher."
Mm.
And he showed me some things. Like we spoke about the Travelers. He loved the Travelers. He wanted me to
Mm.
show some poems, and then he showed me some things, and then we moved on to gambling stuff.
Mm.
You know how I enjoy that. I don't perform it for lay audiences, but I enjoy the. I showed you some things. I was just put to a corner. I was knocked out by this fucking kid. He did center deals like it was
Mm.
water. He did Greek deals like it was water. I was just I I had vertigo just watching that. I never saw that amount of um, technique live, right? I
Mm.
never saw someone do that as close. Like doing a center deal the way he does a center deal, I never saw that. And he showed me a couple of things, and it's just the most insane person I've met. And the thought is, how can a guy who works in a butcher, how can a guy who does something so violent in terms of shopping and something so um, sharp and violent, not in terms of
Mm.
being meat, but in terms of the moves and the actions and the choreography. Take a deck of cards, Rico, and just mwah, right? Like that dichotomy just caught me off guard. Just
Mm.
caught me off guard. So Dani Bekaj, a guy from I don't know the place, but very near to Zamora. I think it's a couple of hours away, 2 hours. That's a guy you should know because he is just technically insane.
Awesome. Okay, second question. What inspires you from outside of magic for your magic?
Can I think about it for a moment? Juggling and therapy.
Okay.
Juggling because of the amount of objects and sort of stunts you can do. I'm very attracted to that. And you've seen my coaster act, which is silly as fuck.
That's great. I love it. I
Um,
love it so much. Yeah.
it has a mix of Uh, so the method is actually from one of my students, but it was inspired by Carol Fox and Charlie Fry. Carol Fox was just insane, and Charlie Fry is a living fucking legend. And therapy because the, the we know others as deeply as we know ourselves. And therapy has allowed me to face the dark corners of my perception, my behavior, my family, my heritage, and that has brought me to my knees in terms of humility. I'm reminded of an Oscar Wilde quote that I've heard it, and I had just now
Mm.
I had like I wanted to cry when I heard that, and I still don't understand why. And the quote was more or less, I'm going to butcher it. Um, the quote was, um, this is Oscar Wilde saying, the he wrote it in some play. I'm still with the firm belief that the most important moments in a man's life is when he gets down on his knees, beats on his chest, and calls out all the sins of his life. Something like this. Like the true commitment to learning about oneself without judgment, with all the dirt, with all the shit, with all the highs and the lows and the mistakes and the regrets and the successes. Oh Lord. So therapy allowed me to do that. And in doing that, it bettered me as a person. And that made me think of magic differently.
Mm.
That made me think of the audience. And I said this before on Caleb Simpson when he invited me to his podcast. Like,
Mm.
I am very willing to let go of magic if entertainment is at service. I know where you come from, and I know you might differ in most aspects. But I am not letting go in terms of abandoning it, but I would definitely put a lesser role on it. If I really want the punchline, the magic effect, the cause effect kind of thing, but I would definitely let it go. So I say therapy because it allows me to know myself more and understand what an audience point of view might be like. So juggling in therapy.
So I'm gonna call you a fucking poser now, because apparently you don't care about magic. So no, but like that's a completely valid point. I come from a very different perspective, where for me magic is the number one thing. But that's a very valid point. Like entertainment can go above the magic in some cases, for sure. But also that makes you a different performer from me, right? Which it wouldn't be fun if we were both the exact same performer.
Yeah, like we have the same tastes in terms of taking a classic and doing something
Mm.
interesting. Um, I got a lot of good feedback from all the other guys. Castor, is that his name? Yeah,
Evan, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And what was his name? I forgot. Not Zippo. Yeah, I know it, but it slips me. They really enjoyed my presentation for the rope thing,
Mm.
the gummy bears and
Yeah.
whatever. And I thought, yeah, this is like it's the same. It's Tabari stuff.
Mm.
There's no different stuff, but then it adds a point to it because it speaks to a performer's identity, right?
Mm.
And we both love to do this, but you are more into, I want to give people this feeling of the impossible, and I want to, but I don't think I want it as much. Like, you're still a magician, you need to fabricate illusions thoughtfully, but I don't know. It's just the way it is, and I like the style I revel in. Like I enjoy watching. I love watching big illusions. I love it, but I don't see myself doing it. But I just love it. It's so cool to watch. Like, so people have different constructions of what magic is, and that works.
And then the last
Another
question is
question. Oh, is that
it's,
the
it's,
question?
it's the last one. It's
The last
reversed.
one. Okay, we're gonna
What
close it out.
inspires you from inside of magic for life? So for outside of
Can you repeat the question?
like what from magic inspires you for life? So for like outside of magic.
Oh. So the the way we yeah, this one is an obvious one, at least for me. The way we just accept how common life is, despite of being just the most magical thing there is. Like everything from the birds, like people who do bird watching. I did a joke on a show where I called someone, oh, I do, what's your hobbies? And he goes, oh, I do bird watching. And I go, oh, so voluntary celibates, right? And they're
Jesus Christ, man.
and and they're laughing. And then I got to talk to them, and they said, "Oh, it's the way we see our like when I'm watching and listening to the birds, I know what time they're appearing. Like nature as a way of being so predictable and so magical, right? Normally the warblers, the red warblers, chest, whatever, they appear at this hour, and they showed me something, and I was like, wow. Like you hear the birds, and you have a phone where you type some stuff on a screen. There's no physical things. You type some stuff, and then you get pizza at your house, and
Yeah.
it's the pizza that you order with the ingredients that you wanted. Isn't that fucking insane?
Dude,
So
but it's already like you are there in Portugal. I'm here in the Netherlands. We are talking to each other in real time through a fucking
look, there's
bot.
no wires to this shit. Look, there's nothing here like linking rings. There's nothing
Yeah, but
here.
even if there were wires, still, it's like
Yeah,
what the fuck?
that's right. So when we fabricate our illusions, we go to life itself and we see aurora borealis, and people
Mm.
go, "Oh, that's so beautiful because it's rare. Because it's rare." You don't say that from Uber Eats when the guy joins with the pizza. Hey, here's your pizza. You don't need to pay because the credit card did this, and it's done, and we have your money. And you go, oh, okay. That's nice. Like I love someone and then I call him from the other side of the world to say I love you. That's magical as fuck. So in the fear of being an old man who's also a monk, who's also out of his hour, yeah, I would say that. I would say that just the how amazing life is and how you look, for example, at objects and you see things differently as a magician and how you can invent new stuff out of it.
That's so cool.
Thank you so much for having me, dude.
Alright, man. Thanks for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for thinking that I have something important to say, even if I don't think so.
Apparently, you do, huh? Well, let's leave that up to the listeners. Thank you so
Oh,
much for being here.
and yeah, I want some glasses like that,
You want some
actually.
glasses like this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Just ship them over. You get my address. So.
Yeah, you want to look cool like me. You want to look like a pro.
Yeah, I have these geeky nerd glasses.
Well, yeah, just computer glasses, man.
Oh,
Like,
are those, they do something about it?
yeah, yeah, like to block the blue light.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Because
That's,
I have like 20/20 vision. I'm like, I can see you perfectly fine like this. Wait, where are you?
I'm gone.
I put the glasses back on and you're gone.
Putting my shirt over my face.
If I can't see you, you can't see me.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. You are a great, great friend. I have so much love for you. And yeah, just listen to the other guys that Rico is bringing, and is a great host, a great friend, and yeah, the extra is a great magician. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on the podcast, man.